Welcome to Christy's Kitchen. Today, that's me, I'm Christy. Today, we're going to make coleslaw. It's going to be completely plant-based and vegan. It's going to be gluten-free. It's going to be full of healthy ingredients, and it's going to be very tasty. I make this recipe about once a week, and I use it as a side dish for other meals that I might have during the week. I have recovered from Crohn's disease. I am in deep remission, proven on biopsies. And I mean, what can you say? Biopsy is telling you the truth. But in order to stay that way, I continue to eat in the way that helped me to get better. I am not telling you that if you eat this way, you also will go into remission. But I thought I might share some of the things that I did that did help and that continue to help me stay healthy. However, if you are in the early stages of your recovery from an inflammatory bowel disease, or maybe from an irritable bowel difficulty, which is a very different thing, you might not want to try cruciferous vegetables right off the bat, especially raw ones. I still do not eat kale because it just doesn't work very well for me. Maybe at some point it will, but so far it doesn't. So I just don't eat that. But I do substitute in something else from the same category, cabbage. And I also put broccoli powder in my magic healing smoothie, which you can find right there. I tried to get as many healthy things into my body as I possibly can because we need nutrition to heal. So if you give cruciferous vegetables a try, this is a good recipe to start with. I find cabbage much easier to digest than broccoli or kale. But you might find something different, in which case this recipe may or may not be good for your particular digestive system in this particular time in your healing journey. Keep that in mind. There are protocols for healing using nutrition, and I have linked some resources for you down below. I kind of made mine up because most of them are programs that you have to pay for, and I thought I could probably figure something out myself. So if you want to pay for them, I'm sure there are people who would be willing to take your money, but you can also pay attention to how food makes you feel, which foods hurt you and which foods soothe you. A lot of people with inflammatory bowel diseases stay away from the foods that hurt them, thinking that they will always hurt them. They stay away from plants and they don't eat any fiber, thinking that the fiber is the problem. But there's a lot of science behind the fact that fiber decreases our chances of having inflammatory bowel diseases, and that anti-inflammatory plant-based diets can help us stay in remission longer. Get to remission easier, stay in remission longer. I will put those studies down below for you as well. So whatever you can do to move closer to anti-inflammatory foods and meals and a dietary plan, the better. Hopefully, I and this channel can help you do that. Let's get to cooking. To begin with, we're going to start with a bag of shredded cabbage. This is actually a coleslaw mix, so it has some carrots already in it. In my opinion, however, it does not have enough carrots, nor does it have enough purple cabbage. Purple cabbage is my favorite. So I'm going to get some more. More purple cabbage, but some of these are kind of big. So we're going to smallen those. And this one's kind of yucky. Okay, now we're going to put in some more carrots. Surprised that didn't explode all over everything. Okay, now our cabbage is a little more colorful. And we're going to make it more colorful still because we're going to put in 2 small apples. Apples are something, I'm going to move this pot off to the side. And there's a reason I make it in this humongous pot. Look how big it is. Because I need to stir it. And if I put it in a small bowl or a small pot, there's not enough room for stirring and making a mess with all those inconveniently excitable particles. Now, apples are something I do not eat raw usually, and definitely not in large amounts. For some reason, they just don't, I don't know what it is. Not only if I eat them in large amounts, like a whole apple at a time, they make my stomach feel upset, but also I get little sores inside my mouth from them, so I probably have some sort of allergy to them. I find these are Cosmic Crisp, and I find that they are the least, of the ones that I've tried so far, the Cosmic Crisp are the ones that least affect me. So if I eat the amount that I'm putting in this coleslaw, and only the apples that are in one serving of that, then I'm okay. Otherwise, I have trouble. I love apples, though. I am a Minnesota girl, and I absolutely love apples. Every fall, since we have moved home to Minnesota, my dad's apple tree produces many, many apples, and I have processed those apples. We will do that together in the fall. How about that? You stick around. We will process apples together. I process them, and then I freeze the apples, and I make apple cider and applesauce and apple cobbler. Lots of yummy apple things. I don't have trouble with apples if they are cooked, as much anyway. I also wanted to say while I'm chopping, I'm almost done chopping, so perhaps I'll save that comment for another day. Okay, the apple is all cut up. Don't need to cut anything else for this recipe. Next, I'm going to put in raisins. I know raisins are not always put in coleslaw, but I like the bit of sweetness that the apples and the raisins provide in contrast to the very tangy sauce that we're going to make. Okay, I think, we're going to stir it up a little bit. I mean, really, how much easier of a recipe can you get? We're going to stir it up. Now we're going to make the sauce together. I had a cup of cashews boiling in that pot for about 15 minutes. I'm going to get my little tiny blender. You will love it. It's so cute. Look at it. It's so cute. I got this on a road trip to Sedona one time because I realized there weren't as many restaurants there that could meet my needs as well as I had hoped. And I definitely needed to make a smoothie. So I got this little thing at a gas station, and it's still going. These are very hot cashews. There we have it. Delicious. Now we have a lot of things to add into here. The first one is garlic. And I don't happen to have any fresh garlic right now, but I have garlic granules. So I'm going to add, I guess 2 teaspoons of garlic granules. Smells so good. Well, I'm not going to add Italian seasoning, at least from this jar, because it is empty. But thankfully, I happen to buy a replacement. Just have to get into it. Sometimes cooking involves a little force. I'm going to do about the same with that. Sauce is going to go across a lot of cabbage, so we don't want to hesitate to make it flavorful. I'm going to do only one, well, that was heaping, but only 1 teaspoon of onion. I'm going to do about a half teaspoon of dill. Okay, and then we're going to put in some Dijon mustard. Boop. About that much. We're going to put in some lemon juice. Just kind of a blob. And then comes the one that does the hard, heavy lifting, vinegar. I'm actually opening a new vinegar. I have this on hand not only for coleslaw, and if you're wondering, it is just cheapo distilled white vinegar from Walmart because that is where I happened to be when I needed vinegar. And from what I have read, you make the decision for yourself if you need to be gluten-free. But from what I have read, the distilling process really does take care of the gluten in there. I hope that's true. On my last colonoscopy, they did biopsies and they said they didn't see any damage to my cilia. So that's great. Now we're going to blend it up. And also, it's very thick. It's much too thick. Look at that. Not good. We're going to add some maple syrup. That's probably about a tablespoon. I'm going to add salt. I forgot salt. Add about a half of a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to add more water. I cannot tell you how much water I have added. Maybe a 1/4 cup. You will learn on this channel how to play with your recipes so they will be flexible. Texture is a little better, still too thick. What a mess. Tastes very, very good. This is where I'm debating. Do I add a little more vinegar if it's not tangy enough, or do I add a little more water if it's a little on the tangy side? I think what's going to happen is I'm going to add a little more water. Because I think, for me, I like it really tangy. If I'm going to share with family members, and I do have non-vegan family members who really like this recipe, then I need to make it less tangy. Now we're going to taste it again. That's more like the texture we want. Now I'm afraid it needs a little bit more vinegar. Boop. Who needs a recipe? Although we do have some leakage happening. Okay, try again. I suspect that now it will be perfect. That's very good. Do I think it needs anything else? No, I think it's perfect. But you may adjust to your own preferences. Now we are simply going to pour the sauce over the mix and stir it up. Of course, I will store it in other containers that are fridge safe because you don't want to just leave an open bin of coleslaw in your fridge. As I mentioned, I make this about once a week and eat it as a side dish. I find it helps me to feel more like a normal person. Although, what is that? Who knows? more like a normal person when I have a meal plus a side dish. It feels very fancy. So I try to be fancy every once in a while. What I was going to say earlier is that I realize the trend is for shorter and shorter videos. Instagram and TikTok encourage videos to be under 3 minutes. I realize this. I understand that short form videos are interesting and addictive. I mean, look at that. It's delicious. It's beautiful. But I do not feel like making short form videos. I think they're bad for our brains. I would like this channel to be calm and meditative. I would like us to talk about food. I would like us to talk about getting healthy and about all of the ways that we are doing good things for our bodies and our souls and our brains, rather than trying to get attention in as many ways as I can. So thank you for being here with me and for making coleslaw with me.